Top of the morning to you. And all that blarney. I don't have a green shirt. The only green shirt I have is for work. I'm not going to sit to this with a work shirt on. But hey, look. My drink is green. Kinda. So yes. Like I said last year, I'm going back and revisiting Leprechaun movies every 17th of March, every St. Patrick's Day. I don't know why I blanked on that at all. And I'm doing them out of order. Last year I did Leprechaun 3, which is my personal favorite one. So now we're going to do my least favorite one and everyone's favorite Leprechaun movie, Leprechaun Origins. Yeah. And why are we doing this? Get it done and out of the way so I can do the other ones, other years. That's why I figured. I didn't want to start with this one last year. I want to start with a good one. Yes, 3 is a good one. Shut up. 3 and 4 are the best. I like 2 and 1. Like the first 4, I think, are good. And then you got the ones when they're in the hood. The requel was pretty rad. The requel, Leprechaun Returns, was pretty rad. And then you have Origins, which is pretty bad. I do the Leprechaun rhyming thing, right? This was, okay, so I'm in the scene of when this movie was getting made. What I'm trying to say. I was in the cultural zeitgeist of the moment when this movie was coming out, because it's produced by WWE Films, and I'm a wrestling guy. You know, I'm not big on their product now, but I used to be like, watch it every week, Raw at least. Watch Monday Night Raw every week. My friends would come over, all that stuff. This came out in 2014, and I was buying all of those WWE movies that they were producing because I liked them. The Marine movies, though I did only watch the first 2. Once the Miz started, I did not. Many years later, I realized the Miz ones are the best ones, except for 4. I didn't care for 4. 5 and 6 are okay. 3 is the best, by the way. The John Cena one's okay. 2 is no good movie. And then there's 12 rounds. All 3 of those are solid, by the way. I will stand up for those. And then you get movies like Knucklehead, with the Big Show having to go poo-poo on a bus that can't fit him in the bathroom. I bet you that was the first joke written. Hey, big guy has to go poo-poo, but the bathroom's too small. Bump. Funny, ha-ha. Or you have Jingle All the Way 2, starring Larry the Cable Guy, where the plot makes no sense because he's trying all this to get her a bear that his daughter never actually wanted. Because they knew the plot. Right? The See No Evil movies, which I still have a soft spot for the first one. The second one's okay. And then there was The Resurrection of Gavin Stone, which was a Jesus movie. Legendary was pretty good, and then you had other ones. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Triple H was in 2 movies. Get Out? No. Inside Out. Not the Disney one. This came out before that one. It was called Inside Out. Him, Michael Rappaport. Who played his wife? Was it Jennifer Parker Posey? Then there was The Chaperone. Triple H and the girl from Modern Family. And the brother-in-law from Grounded for Life. Or the brother from Grounded for Life, excuse me. Sean's friend. Was his brother or friend? His friend, right? I thought it was his brother. Eddie was his... I know I'm going to have to look it up. Hold on. Grounded. Grounded for life. Good show, by the way. Recurring guest. It said Eddie, so it's his brother, Kevin Corrigan. Isn't that movie? Yeah, I thought it was his brother. Like, he comes off as like a mix of Robert De Niro and Christopher Walken. He kind of talks like this a lot, you know. He's got the. I'm really struggling to not do with a narrow face right now. He's not even in this movie, but yeah, those movies. And then somehow I just stopped buying them. And I think, thinking about it earlier, I think this was the straw that broke the camel's back, where I was just like, yeah, I don't know. Well, actually, we could see WWE Studios film. Okay. Inside Out. So, well, the day I remember that being announced. You're like, CM Punk's in that? No, it's not. It's the dude from The Lord of the Rings, the dude from Lost. Dead Man Down I bought because Wade Barrett is in it. He does not have a line in the movie. He plays henchman number 1. No lines. It's not bad of a movie though. It's got what's his name? Colin Farrell, Noomi Rapace. Dominic Cooper's in there. There was The Call. No One Lives. I reviewed that one. That's not bad. No Rounds. Leprechaun Origins. You know, it may actually have been See No Evil 2. I did buy the Flintstones one, but only because it was a double feature with the Scooby-Doo one. Right? And then I bought 12 Rounds 3. And Countdown, but that was on discount. I bought it for like $5. Maybe I bought it normal price. 2016. I talked about that one once. There's the other one. Yeah, I think the Marines were probably the last ones that I bought, and I bought them off eBay so I could do the reviews. I don't think. No, I think I just stopped. I got out of it, which was fine. But yeah. So this movie, they were coming out. I was in the zeitgeist for this movie. It's coming out. Everyone was talking about Hornswoggle was going to be Leprechaun. I'm like, that might be pretty good. And then the trailer comes out, and I went, "The fuck is this shit? This looks like a generic monster movie. What are they doing?" I'm like, first of all, they did not show any of the Leprechaun in the trailer. It's just them running from something. You don't see it. And you come to find out watching this movie, that's the case for most of this film. To like the climaxes, you don't see this thing. You get glimpses. And for some reason, Leprechaun vision, where everyone looks in gold. I've heard this compared to Wrong Turn or Pumpkinhead. Some people have said similar to Midsommar. I think that's mostly like the comparison of the boyfriend and girlfriend in this movie, where the boyfriend clearly wants nothing to do with his girlfriend anymore, but she can't catch a hint. And yeah, the cast in this though, I think is solid. A lot of people I know, and they have one big connection with. A lot of these have connections. We'll get to it. So we start with stock footage of Ireland. Yep. And we see a couple, Catherine and Francois. We never learned their names in the movie, but I've been there as the names here. Are running from something. They're in the bushes. It's literally the raptor scene from Jurassic Park. And they don't make it. They're running towards this rock. They don't make it. They don't quite make it. No. Nope. And we cut to, and this, watching it, this made me scratch my head a bit. We just cut to our 4 American college friends: Sophie, Ben, Jenny, spelled Jeni. That's Jenny, first of all. Whatever. But it's pronounced Jenny. And David on vacation in the Irish countryside on the back of someone else's truck. And I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering. How the hell did they get there? Did they land in Ireland and say, hey, we're going to hitchhike? Did not have a car? You think there'd be a scene, especially with what this movie is about, where they have a car and it stops working. You know, kind of like the New Strangers movies, where they get to that town and the car just stops working, you know, after someone messed with it. This has a lot of similarities to the New Strangers movies, where the town isn't on it. I haven't seen a new one yet, but I've heard things. What? They just arrive on the back of this vehicle. And we have not met these characters before this. Not like a scene of them at the apartment packing, getting ready to go on a trip. Like the beginning of Cabin in the Woods would have worked here. Or they discuss, what they want to do after this trip, a little bit of character development. The only thing we get really is that Sophie is supposed to be going to some college. That's not on here, of course. And she doesn't want to go to that college. She wants to go where her boyfriend is, and he could not give a shit. That's what we get for character development. And then for them to randomly bring it up later when they're running from this thing. They're in the middle of the car trying to run, and she goes, "You left me." Huh? Why'd you run away? You left me. I was like, okay, now can you address this after you get away from it? And talk about our cast here. Okay, so we have Stephanie Bennett, who I thought was the chick from Supernatural, the Hollywood episode, who was Tara Benchley was her character's name. It wasn't. She was in iZombie. And Grave Encounters 2, which I do not remember her from. Says her name was Sophie. No, that's this one. Tessa. Which one was Tessa? Was she the one that the dude had a crush on? Or was that a different one? Was she blonde in that movie? Hold on. Where's the Google? That's the SmackDown Hotel. Stephanie Bennett. I'm going to mute it so you guys don't hear that out. Stephanie. Bennett. Anyway, Grave Encounters 2. Okay, she's a goth girl. Okay. Now I gotta know. She was. She like Men of Letters person? This was 20. When is she on there? Shelley clip show. 2013. That would have been season 9. No, that wasn't Men of Letters yet. That was the either season 9 or season 8. That wasn't okay. Never mind. The way she was dressed though, Men of Letters wasn't until later. Anyway, yeah, Stephanie Bennett plays Sophie. Andrew Dunbar as Ben. Melissa Roxburgh as Jenny. Brendan Fletcher as David, Jenny's boyfriend. Dylan Hornswoggle Postal plays the Leprechaun, as I mentioned. And we have Gary Chalk as Hamish McConneville. And his son, Sean, is played by Teach Grant. So, what I want to point out is there's a connection with most of these actors. Stephanie Bennett and Melissa Roxburgh, Brendan Fletcher, Gary Chalk, and Emily Olerup, who played Catherine in the opening, have all been on Supernatural. And I don't know if Teach Grant was, but I know he starred with Jensen Ackles in the movie. God, why can't I remember it? Devour. Yeah. So there's a connection there. Now, we can't talk about the film. You're 16 minutes into this thing. All right. So, yeah, they just show up, right? And they're on this thing, and they stop, and there's this big field. The field where we saw these people running earlier. The guy's like, yeah, it's just a little bit, a couple of miles in there. You just keep walking, you find the town. And they're like, well, can you give us a ride? Oh, no, I can't be doing that. No. So they're gotta walk. And they do, and they find a local pub. It says bar. This is Ireland, is a pub. Where they meet Hamish, a friendly old man, who's nice to them. Talks to them about this thing called some kind of something of the gods, which I feel like he made it up. But he overhears that Sophie is a history major, so he uses that as an in. And he says, yeah, here's what we'll do. You stay in a cabin that we have, and then tomorrow we'll all go out there together, yeah? Sorry if I'm butchering the accent. I have Irish heritage, so shut up. So they agree to go to cottage, and his son Sean shows up, and he just looks like a bundle of joy. Pulls up. It'd be better if I had like a mustache or something, but no. And they have this cabin, and I'm sorry, but as soon as they go to open the cabin door and there's a bunch of freaking locks on it, no, I'm not staying there. Something is going on. But no, they all agree to stay there because they're fucking idiots. And then, yeah. So they split rooms. Luckily, they're just lucky that they're 2 couples. So those are just 4 people. Also, Sean does say, you never said it was 5 people. That's too many. As if it was only 2 people, he'd be fine with it. Although on the ride there, we do get an explanation of sorts. That they found, where is it? It was once a mining center for gold that they found in a nearby cabin. The gold ran out, population dwindled, and it didn't run out. They say that the thing collapsed again. It became a mine, and it collapsed, and yeah. So I want to talk about when they get ready to go to bed. Okay, so boy toy guy, was his name Ben? He's sitting there reading a book. This is not a book, but pretend I'm reading a book, and she's like, So you were kind of quiet earlier, huh? Or whatever. Or did you say that here? I don't know. So she's like talking to him. She's like, "Are you sure you don't want to go to the same school?" And he's like, "Yeah, uh-huh." And she's like, she gets down into her underwear, and she's like, "Are you sure you're gonna miss all of this?" And he's just like, "I miss you." Yeah, he's not interested, honey. I'm telling you, because if a woman was standing there in her underwear, asking if I'd miss all that, though I do want to point out she's a very, I mean, they're not that big, but she's normal looking. She's she's skinny, she's attractive. When I looked her up on the thing, because she got better with age. Let me tell you. And it's like, I'm just like, I'm sorry, but if a woman went, "You miss all this," I don't care what book I'm reading, I'm jumping in back because she wanted something. She wanted some because after he just sort of is like, "I miss you," and then looks back at his book, she's like, she gets in the bed. He's like, "Good night." She's like, "Good night, babe," and that's it. And then we cut to what was supposed to be, I think, a funny joke where you cut to the other two just viciously making out. But then they do a thing where David has had too much Irish beer and passes out. And I like how she gets into bed and she's like, "I can't believe you did that." He's like, "Oh, well, huh?" Then she hears a noise and investigates the noise and sees something outside. Of course, we don't see it yet. She wakes up with the others, and they don't find anything. They think it's an animal. I will say that Hamish did shoot at something earlier. That's two examples of them in the daylight. Just remember that. Just remember that. Yeah. So they try to leave. They find that it's locked. They can't get out. That's not how locks work. Because, okay, they have all these locks, right? But then they have... if you can lock it from the key on the outside, the inside, there's a big old knob you can turn on one of them that'll unlock it. My door. You can't see the door really. I have a thing. My door, and I'm not wearing pants. Okay, you'll hear it. Okay? That's a switch on my door. That's a lock. That's the lock. So it's unlocked. I can lock it from the outside. But from the inside, I can still lock it and unlock it at will. That's how doors work. That's how that door works. We're supposed to... But the viewers of this movie are supposed to be idiots who can't tell that I'm yelling. I'm sitting there looking at this going, yeah, just turn all the locks. It locks from the outside, but it also unlocks from the inside. That's how doors work. And no horror movie ever gets doors right. Where it's like, well, it locks from the inside. Well, yeah, but I don't know. And so I thought of this. So they find that there's like a secret door that the Leprechaun comes through. It attacks them. They run to the bedroom. It attacks Mark's, David's leg, injuring him. So he's like hobbling the rest of this movie, which I don't get it. And like they get out through the little hidey hole that the Leprechaun hides in. And then, like, they just start running full at it. And my man, David, has a hurt leg and falls down. And two of them, Ben and his own fucking girlfriend, just continue to run off. And Sophie has to come back and help him. That's what she's talking about, I think, later. It's like, you're just going to leave. Right? They escape from there and go to the village hall where they hide. And it's village hall. It's the house that they said used to be their house. And that's where they find all the proof. The monster is a Tuatha De Danann, also known as a leprechaun, who owns the gold that the villagers brought. So when they dug in there and found the gold, they took it from the leprechauns. And the villagers, Hamish and the villagers, refused to return the gold and didn't want to leave the village. So, in return for the gold, the villagers have to sacrifice at least 2 humans a year as compensation. That's not how leprechauns work. That's other movie monsters we've seen. That's not how. No. And it's after gold because it took Jenny's earring and it's gold, and then her tongue ring later, and yeah. By the way, who has a gold tongue ring? I'm just saying. It can be repelled by a certain symbol, the symbol that are on the stones, the stone that they found at the edge of the thing. Right? So they're keeping all these in this village, is what they're doing. By that stone. We're going to escape 15 years ago. Hamish and Sean are joined by their friend Ian outside, where Hamish tells them that he doesn't think that Sean has it in his heart anymore to keep doing this. So they're like standing there, they're like, okay, I think it's been long enough. And they go in there, and they go into the cabin, and they're like, what? Like, he's like, if there are no bodies here, that means it hasn't fed yet. So they're running. So when the 4 of them, our 4 characters, go into this cabin, they decide to turn on this bright-ass floodlights outside. So they're easy to find. Yeah? I'm like, especially after they read this book and they realize that the people are in on it, turn off the fucking light. No, they have to be stupid for this plot to work. They also revealed that like the lights keep away the leprechaun, which would be a decent way to fight off the leprechaun if we didn't already see them in the fucking daylight. Why does the light repel them? We've seen them in the daylight. Twice now. We've heard them. So why does light repel them? It makes no sense. You wanted a way to be able for them to be able to shoo them away, but didn't realize they've already been in the light 3 times by the end of this fucking movie. So they overhear them come into the house, and the 4 of them just sort of huddle in a corner. And Sean finds them, and just sort of, he's conflicted if he wants to say anything, but Hamish comes down and finds them. Then when they go back upstairs, they find Ian impaled on farm equipment. How the fuck did the leprechaun do that? Right? Now, the old leprechaun would just go and place him on it with his magic. This one is this leprechaun is a feral creature, excuse me. So then the 4 then run off and they find this old lady, Mary, who was also on Supernatural, by the way. But I couldn't tell you what her name was. Mary Black. I swear she was on there. Yeah, she was on there. I don't know. It's just showing me their mom. She was on there. She was also in Man of Steel. So anyway, but of course she's in on it, so she just takes them to where they are, and they try to fight off, but then Sophie is knocked unconscious, which means the other three are also captured. I don't know. They wake up tied to trees with gold around their necks to attract the leprechaun, I guess. But then when the leprechaun shows up, he slashes Mark. I think I did this in my original review too. David. And it cuts the rope, so he's free. But he cut free the one with the limpy leg. So he's trying, and he frees them. Then they all run and let him die. Because these people are fucking stupid. Fuck. They're assholes. Jenny is visibly affected by this. And so then Sophie says, we gotta go back to the cabin. Why? Yeah, why? Because they're gonna kill it there, I guess. Oh, yeah. So, they get there, and the setup is two of them will stay inside, and one of them goes outside. It's elected that Sophie and Ben will stay inside, while Jenny goes outside to lure them. Right? Well, no, what is it? Are they outside and one of them has to go outside. She lures it in, goes in the thing, but the leprechaun finds her and throws her in just as they swing their axes to kill it. It kills her. And what is one of the most fucking hilarious scenes in any movie. I laughed my ass off so hard. I keep forgetting. This is the best part of this movie. I keep forgetting about that part. And when that happened, I just went, No, hold on. I gotta see it again. One more time. Okay, I gotta finish watching this piece of shit. It is ridiculous. I don't think it's supposed to be funny, just the editing of it. And this movie sucks. We also have now seen the creature by now. It doesn't look like no leprechaun. It looks like a chupacabra or a goblin. It's not a leprechaun. I don't know who said it. And I don't get what the point of having Hornswoggle play the thing. Anyone could have played this. And before you say, well, they have to have a WWE superstar in the movie for it to work. No, they don't. Oculus didn't have a WWE superstar in it. And I mentioned... What was the other one? I mentioned one earlier that didn't have a WWE superstar in it. I can go through. The Day didn't have a WWE superstar in it. Barricade didn't have a WWE superstar in it. See, they didn't always have WWE superstars. And even if they were, they weren't prominent. Like, you remember David Otunga in The Call with Halle Berry? No? He was a cop. Like, I mentioned Wade Barrett and Dead Man Down. Before I mentioned him earlier, did you even remember him being in that movie? If you've seen it, No One Lives. Did you know that the Funkasaurus himself, Brodus Clay, was in that movie? Right? No, because they're not stars. Though Road to Paloma came out, that Jason Momoa, people thought it was Roman Reigns. No, it wasn't, but... Jingle All the Way 2 had Santino Marella. Yeah. No, they don't have to have a WWE superstar in this for it to work. So I don't get the point of having Hornswoggle in this movie. Anyway, let's finish this up, okay? They lure it to this barn that's being built, and they lock it inside, but it's not even built. And they find Hamish's truck, and this is where they decide to air their grievances with their relationship for no reason. Then Leprechaun kills Ben, because he's an asshole. Rips his spine out. This is the best kill in this movie, because you can actually fucking see it. I mean, Ian on the machine was kind of gnarly looking too, but you don't see him get on there. He's just on there. A lot of kills are cut away. Editing in this movie sucks. Because they gotta keep editing so you don't see the fucking leprechaun, because it's horrible looking. They knew it was bad. Most of the time, you just see through its shitty ass gold vision. So this part confused me. Okay? So she escapes, but is found by Hamish, who has her by gunpoint. Then Sean appears, and he tells her to run. Then chastises his father by saying, "You're gonna shoot a girl, Dad? Really?" And I'm like, well, no, he wasn't, because they said earlier that they need to be alive in order for the leprechaun to come after them. Also, they stated that they need 2 sacrifices. The leprechaun has now killed 3 fucking people. Shouldn't it go back to sleep now? Does anyone not see a problem with this plot? Where it's like they have 4 people that they want to sacrifice, but they say it only needs 2. It's gotten its 2. That the requirement, it's 2. All 3, by this point, 4 now if you count poor Ian. Right? I don't know. But they have an argument, and Hamish falls down the stairs, so Leprechaun eats Hamish. That's 5. I don't... They said before that the legend I read on here says you only need 2 sacrifices. Why did he Hamish? And he's like, oh, but it has to go after all 4 of the sacrifices. Cool. Why did it kill Ian and Hamish then? It doesn't make any sense. They're just doing a body count now. They don't care about the rules they already pre-established. Because they also established it's afraid of light, but it also established they can be in the daytime. So Sophie gets in Hamish's truck, but the leprechaun is somehow right there to try to stop her. And she crashes into a tree. I don't know why. She just does. She gets on foot and runs off as the sun starts to rise. And keep in mind, this should mean the leprechaun should go away, because it doesn't like the light. But it doesn't. So they can't even keep that straight. She finds the 2 from the beginning's bag and a knife that Francois had, and she cuts his fucking head off, then runs off. But lest you think this is all over, and she saved the day, and they no longer have to, the people of the town no longer have to worry about this. She saved them. No, 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 and no, 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 no. No more. No. We see there are more than one leprechaun there. So then, the biggest question of this entire fucking movie must be asked. If there was more than one fucking leprechaun, then why were they only fighting off one fucking leprechaun? Are you kidding me? You are showing us at the end of this movie there's more than one. So why was there only one chasing them? Other than budget. Why was only one chasing them? You're showing us there's more than one. They should have had an army of them chasing after them. Right? You can argue that there was actually 2 at the end. Because one got to her truck pretty fast before it was eating Hamish. Right? So I'm just saying. There could have been 2 at the end there, and the one... I don't know. But if... That's the biggest question this whole movie. There's more than one. So why wasn't there more than one feeding? Because you think Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, yeah, they released the Leprechaun, so the Leprechaun has to feed. So only one Leprechaun gets to feed only every once a year? And that suffices? No, they just wanted to set up for sequels. And they didn't. These people writing this movie did not care if any of this shit made sense. They put in every fucking cliche from every horror movie that has ever existed. Taking people and locking them up to lead them to something? Check. Creatures afraid of the light? Check. Decapitations, gore, feeding? Check. Ridiculous lore? Check. Cliffhanger that reveals wasn't what you thought it was? Check. It was more than one. But the concept of there being more than one Leprechaun in this movie makes no sense in any way, shape, or form. If there was always more than one Leprechaun, why did only one Leprechaun show up to feed? Why were they only fighting off one Leprechaun? And I'm looking for an answer better than because the budget wouldn't allow it. I need an in-universe answer here. So, they only send out one Leprechaun to feed. And that suffices as a way for their goal. Like, we'll make a deal with you. We'll repay you by feeding you. But only one of you. And the rest just sits there going, fuck is my food. Right? I'm just saying. And it's weird. Because as I started watching this movie, I thought, this movie isn't half bad. It's generic. It's not a good movie by any means, but the more and more I think about everything in this movie, it solidifies my rating of it can just fry in hell. I'm sorry. And you could say that the Warwick Davis ones don't make a lot of sense. But when your movie contradicts the lore already established, saying that the leprechauns are afraid of the light, but we've already seen them in the light. And then by the end of the movie, they're back in the light. Maybe they're trying to say it was sensitive to their eyes, but that would still apply for the sunlight. Right? That doesn't make any sense. And again, going back to the end. If there was always more than one leprechaun, why didn't we see more than one leprechaun chasing after them? Again, other than the reason of we didn't have a budget. It makes no sense. No sense. But I'm glad I did this one and got out of the way, and then I'll proceed to do other ones out of order. Only ones I'll do in order are In the Hood and Back to the Hood. Even though they're not really connected, I feel like I gotta do those back. And of course the original and Returns. So I guess 2 and 4 are the other ones that are gonna be kind of random. They're supposed to be randomly picked too, but you know what I mean. So what are your thoughts on Leprechaun Origins? Let me know in the comments. So make sure to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.